Baz, thank you so much for joining us today at Rise Academy of Music and informing our students and whoever's watching more about yourself and the O2 trainer. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's what is it? 2 p.m. here in California. With you guys, it's early.
Yeah, I think we're on the 9 a.m. mark. And I believe we're in the future.
You're in the future. That's so funny because I came back from Japan one time, and a friend of mine had his birthday in Japan, and when they came back to America, he had his birthday again.
Oh, lucky. Oh, that's so cool. Baz, I do want to ask you, for students that may not know who you are and all the incredible things you've done, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and how the O2 trainer kind of came about?
Okay, so there's a lot. It's a long story, but I tried to put a little bit a lid on it. I was very sick as a kid. I had a severe asthma and had a horrible skin disease. So needless to say, I was bullied a lot because of my skin disease. I was the leper in school. People didn't want to hang out with me, so I spent a lot of time by myself. But I also did track and field. And my whole family, they're all athletes. From my dad's side, they're all track and field guys. So I started doing track and field as well. Needless to say, my running was always the worst for me because of my lungs. I had just very bad lungs. But what I realized is that after an asthma attack, so when I had an attack, that would be awake 8 days in bed, not able to eat at times because I couldn't breathe. So literally sitting like this 24/7, 7-8 days straight. So it's very hard on me. But then when I resumed my track and field, and I would, and especially running, I would always break my running times. And it blew my mind. And I thought it was maybe the medication I was taking. I didn't know what it was until I went to the doctor's office and I saw a drawing of a pair of lungs on the wall. And I realized there that the infection is not in your lungs. It's actually the airways that go to the lungs. And they showed a healthy airway and they showed an infected airway. And that was it, because I saw the infected airway. I go, oh, I've been working out my lungs. At the time, I thought my lungs did the work. They've been pulling air in through this tiny little area. So unknowingly, I've been training them with resistance. So now when the openings are completely open, it's much easier for my lungs to breathe because they're stronger now. Why don't I come up with something that controls the air intake? And it started out with a washer. Let me see, I can pull one here out of the O2 trainer that I have. And it's just like those metal washers, those little things that you have, you put nuts and bolts, right?
Yeah.
And I did, this is a plastic one, but that was a metal one, and I put it in front of my tooth, and I tried to breathe in through my teeth, but needless to say, that's a very dangerous thing to do because if it shoots in your lung, that's it. They can't Heimlich it out,
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it was always in my head, and I was, man, I should do something with that. So at every party we go to, everybody's always, somebody says, oh, I've got a great invention idea. And they would say their invention, would tell somebody else, would tell their invention. And when I would tell mine, and we called it a routinizer at the time, everybody goes, you got to make that thing. That's going to be something. And then many years later, there was on the TV show, The Ultimate Fighter, Vanderlei Silva is the head coach, and he was training his guys with snorkels. And I know what they're doing, they're rebreathing carbon dioxide, which sparks a little bit the red blood cell count. But I didn't see the show, I didn't watch, but I got a lot of texts and phone calls from my buddies, and they go, like, dude, that thing that you're talking about, the routinizer, you should make it, because look, he's doing that now already with a scuba diving thing. Maybe somebody's going to come up with it and he's going to steal it from you. So I did a patent search, and what do you know? Nobody had the patent. And I go, okay, so I grabbed the patent, and then I started working on it. We made a prototype. Within 3 weeks of using the prototype, my asthma was gone. So now I knew, oh, whoa, we got something, because I was carrying an inhaler with me everywhere I went. Every single fight I had in my life, I used an inhaler in the dressing room. I always, because once I start working out, it's exercise-induced asthma. It starts triggering your asthma. Then you start wheezing. You need an inhaler to open it up. So I sent it to my buddy in Holland who had asthma. And 8 days later, he calls me. He says, my asthma is gone. I want to sell them in Holland. He's actually selling them in Europe for me right now because he's a big believer as well. And that's how it started. But the thing looked very clumsy. It was not people, you didn't get people interested for it. And then many years later, I got connected with Dr. Belisa Vrenes. She's a world-renowned breathing expert. And a friend of mine said, you got to meet her because she's all about breathing and she likes your device. So I went over there, and the first thing that she did was measuring my chest expansion. So I have to exhale and inhale. So now I know what it does and what they were measuring. But she goes, okay, exhale, inhale, and she goes, no, that's not possible. She's like, do it again. And she goes like, wait, and she walks out of the room and she comes back with another doctor. And she goes like, if I don't bring him, he's not going to believe it. They go, what's going on? Yeah. She says your chest expansion is just bizarre. You know, normally when they break the record here, it's like an eighth of an inch. You almost went 2 inches over everybody else.
Woo!
So then we found out it was because it's the O2 trainer that my chest. So now she put it in her book, and then suddenly that's when traffic started picking up. Now people realized, hey, this thing is for real. It's not just a gimmick. It really works. And well, here we are. And by the way, how I found out it would be great for singers. That's my wife figured that out, because when I was training with the prototype, I was, look at you, it's a plug. That's my wife was in the restaurant. She was telling me the whole time, she says, keep your voice down. And I go, what? I'm not speaking loud. She says, your voice is so loud the whole time. And I go, that has to be the freaking O2 trainer. You know, so that's how I figured out. Weird,
You're like,
right?
it's so effortless for me to project. I can't help it.
That's it. My wife told me to shut the hell up. That's how I figured out it worked really well for singers and horn instruments players, wind instrument players as well.
I love that very, very much. Now, for those that are watching, Buzz, of course, is a mixed martial artist, karate and taekwondo black belt, Muay Thai kickboxer, and UFC heavyweight champion. So he definitely has put the O2 trainer to the test, to say the least. And he's achieved so much, and now has created a device to help asthma sufferers, athletes, and singers. So, Buzz, I want to know, why is it important?
I believe this is not only important for singers and athletes, and for asthma patients. I think it's important for everybody else on the planet. I mean, 95% of us breathe wrong. You know, it all starts when we're like 5.5, 6 years old. We're looking at action figures and we see abs and core, and then oh, wait a minute, if I start breathing to my belly, which is a perfect breath, every baby you will see they have a perfect breath, then people might think, other kids might think that I'm fat. And that's how it starts. And of course they go to school and they sit and they have the tight belts on, and now suddenly the push gets pulled up more. Then you go to the doctor's office and they go like, oh, let me listen to your lungs, and they put them high on your chest, breathe in. And now you go as a kid, you go, oh, that's where my lungs are. So everybody starts shoulder breathing.
That's right.
And what people don't realize is that 4 to 6 of these breaths is the same as one belly breath. Now take the lowest number, 4, I always say. That's it. Instead of breathing 40 times, you can do the same work with doing it 10 times. That's a big difference. When I was fighting, that was still when I didn't have the O2 trainer. And there's a video of me, and I put it on my website. You see me in the corner like this. I'm completely breathing wrong. There's absolutely completely gone. It's like, if you see me breathe now, if I come out of a hard round, it amazes me every time. I'm like this. I go, oh, this is so crazy. I look at my wife, I go, this is so insane. Before I was like raising my shoulders and using all the other supportive muscles, the vertical breath institutes, which is the worst thing is. Now, 95% of us breathe wrong. So breathing correctly, you get up to 5 times more oxygen in your body. And then, of course, if you're an athlete, asthma patient, singer, actor, you have to project, wind instrument player. Yeah, I would suggest to really use an O2 trainer, because it strengthens your diaphragm, your breathing muscles.
That's right. And also too, breathing is so important in our life. We always talk about, eating healthy. We always talk about, other aspects of our health, but we don't really consider our breathing too much. It's kind of that automatic thing that we don't really pay enough attention to, and we should.
Yeah, because everybody says, I've been doing that since I was a baby. I know how to breathe. You don't have to tell me how to breathe. I get it so funny. And that's exactly what you say. I always use the survival rule of 3. And I say the average human being can go 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, 3 minutes without oxygen. And everybody focuses on what you said, on the food and on what they drink, and nobody focuses on the number one priority. It blows my mind. And now I did a whole course. I shot a whole breathing course now. So I have to dive into these books, and I learned everything about the diaphragm, the muscles, the vena cava, all the vagus nerves, all the things that are attached to breathing, and the balance. And it is insane that other people not doing it. It is so good for you, especially now with the COVID, with all that kind of stuff. For every single person, more oxygen works simply better. So why not breathe like you're supposed to breathe?
Yeah, that makes heaps of sense to me. Being a singer, breathing is very important. And we usually go through the 4 different ways of breathing, and we always say the chest breath is not the one we recommend. On top of what you said, Buzz, as well, we say, well, if you're breathing from the chest, you're also more inclined to get tension, because you're using all your accessory muscles to lift your shoulders, which is too close to your instrument. So always aim for the lower breaths, the tummy, the ribs. There's something that we call a poggio breath, which is considered one of the best breaths we can do as singers. And what that actually entails is taking a rib breath and a belly breath at the same time. It's the 360 breath. It works on the whole thing. And then we use those intercostal muscles to actually keep our body big while we're exhaling. But the biggest thing that we find is, especially in up-tempo songs as well, a lot of students can't catch an efficient breath quick enough. And that's where the O2 trainer comes in for us. We actually train our body to have a very solid and quick inhale, that pressure system or vacuum system, so that when we exhale, we're ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're ready to go, we say. Now, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, and I might just ask you to sing as well, because that's something a lot of people probably don't ask you. But I do want to first ask for anyone that purchases the O2 trainer. So for those of you that don't know, this one is the first model that Buzz came out with, just as good. And then this one is the new version. Now, what I love about this one, Buzz, and I don't say it because I'm talking to you, is I can keep this one in my mouth. So I was able to just keep it and keep practicing, and I can maintain that for a long time. Now, if a student, and I've got the little shop up there, you can see all the O2 trainers up there. For the students that do purchase it, what do you recommend in regards to starting out? I know that we're going to have a lot of students wanting to start on number 14 straight away. Probably not the best thing to do. So what is your recommendation in terms of its use?
Okay, so baby steps, I always say. You do. There's videos on my website where I explain to the detail how it works. And if you read what's below, it will tell you have to time your session. You're going to have to do 30 repetitions with it. It's a certain move you have to make. We'll go over that in a little bit. And if that together is over 3 minutes, and within 4.5 minutes, you have the perfect size. So in the beginning, you need to find what's yours. And with the new model, actually, 1 is the strongest one. With the old model was 14. So most of the time, I would say 4, 5, or 6. With the new model is the size everybody starts with. Now, and how you see that you get stronger is very simple, because if you time yourself every week, you're going to realize that you do the same 30 repetitions much faster. I give you an example. This is really funny. You can check this on my Facebook page. I have it.
I'll link it below, guys. I'll link it below, all the details there. And I'll put on the Breathing IQ as well. breathingiq.com as well, if you want to check out what your measurements are.
Yeah, no, it's because it's super important to know, so you can go somewhere. Because if you have statistics, you know where to go. Yeah. But going back to this, in 2018, I started doing daily sessions, and I would film them. And I will put them on that Facebook page, Bas with this O2 Bootcamp. And I started with the number 4, which is 11 at that time, but it doesn't matter, it's 4. And I started training with it. It took me 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And then I go, okay, like 2.5 years in, I look at my wife, I say, hey, because now I'm much stronger, I did it with the harder resisting. I'm going to try that cap one more time, see how fast I can do it now. So 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and I do it at 55 seconds now. So that's a 75% increase. It's just bizarre. And I put these videos there so you can see, me posting the video, and then you can see me doing the video with the same size. So this is not something I'm just saying. You can go 4 years back, and every single day I post a video. I might have missed 50, but that's over 4 years. So that's a pretty high, I'm sustaining a high rep, yeah. So, but that was the difference. And then I realized, okay, now this is going to help with everything. And what people also don't realize, there's 2 exercises. Actually, if you want, there can going to be 3 exercises. You can also use the side breathing and your back breathing. The back breathing is what a lot of people forget, because those muscles, you never worked out. With that, if you start back breathing, which we call exercise number 2, watch out the first time you do it. Because, and I'm telling you again, you never used those muscles before. If you do this 30 repetitions, the next day you're going to walk around, you're going to be in pain. It's like you attacked your back trained your back really hard with weights. Yeah. That's how painful it is. And that might steer you away from keep doing it. Just do 15 repetitions. Don't worry about it. And like you said already, watch out with the size. You can do size number 1. I don't do size number 1 after, this is 1 millimeter. I do 2. I do 2 millimeters. That's after 4 years. Now, if I can really push, I can do with the new o2 trainer. There's also 0.5 millimeters. 1.5 and 2.5 is there as well. Only on those numbers. I can probably do 1.5 millimeter, but I just feel better doing 2 millimeter. What I also do, I do just 5 minutes straight, and I just go 5 minutes to town. That's what I do. So I go like 45 repetitions or something I do in 5 minutes. That, to me, feels better than just constantly counting the 30 repetitions.
All right, fantastic. What I'll do is in the link below or description below, I will put all those links. I'll put specific videos as well that Buzz has done, and you can watch him do it. I might even do one myself for us students here and show how it should be done too, because why not? Let's jump on that train.
Why not? I want to show something, because then the people have an idea at home. Because if you don't know how breathing works, your lungs are just two bags, right? By themselves, they can't do anything. If you can't expand your chest, you cannot breathe. So what happens is you have your diaphragm. The diaphragm is literally like this, a dome-shaped muscle, tendon muscle actually. That's located here on the bottom of your sternum, and it goes all the way to the bottom of your ribs, all the way back. So this is where this thing is located. This is attached to that. When you inhale, you use your diaphragm. This is what happens. And people go, what is this? Well, it drops down. And from that view, look what happens. Puff. It expands in the middle of your body. So it will expand your rib cage. That, together with the intercostals, you were talking about it, the external intercostal muscles are the muscles in between your ribs that open up your chest for you. Now, if you open up your chest, there's a vacuum between the body and your lungs that will open up the lungs. So I always tell people this, because this is going to screw your mind. Your chest doesn't expand because you put air in it. Your chest expands, and that's how you pull the air in. It's completely different than what we believe it is. You see, so if you can't expand your chest, you simply can't breathe. So training those muscles, the diaphragm, which is the most important one, and the intercostal muscles, very important. And there's no other way to do this with resistance than using an inspiratory muscle training device, which is what the o2trainer is. Sure, you can do breathing exercises, but that's like me doing biceps with no weights. I'm going to have to do 1,500 repetitions to get a pump. But if I add a little bit of weight, which is what the o2trainer does, training for your breathing muscles, then it's much easier. You can do 30 repetitions. You're done in 4.5 minutes maximum. And that's it. That's your workout. That's the only thing you need to do once a day, and you will see a change. It's just insane. That's
fantastic, Buzz. I am so proud to have you as a partner at Rise Academy. It's not funny. I'm so excited.
Oh.
Now, I do want to say, for the students that are watching in the singing aspect, we always talk about a side breath. When we take a breath, we don't want to go, we don't want to lift that chest. We always want to take a, and make sure that we're breathing in and out, and our ribs are going to the side as well, going in this direction. And it's expanding. Now, what I say to everybody, and Buzz, I'm going to share this with you too. I'm not going to be surprised if you already know this, okay? Okay. I'm going to go through it anyway. But usually what we say is a non-trained singer, when we breathe in, if we're breathing from our belly and we're doing it correctly, we'll breathe in. And then when we breathe out, we simply just let it go. There's nothing to worry about. We just go, we carry on with our day. What's really cool about singers is when we breathe in, we inhale, and then we don't let our body go down. I want you to do me a favor, Buzz. I want you to try that for me. Put a hand on your rib, put a hand on your belly. Take a nice full apogeo breath, rib and belly together.
Rib and belly together?
Rib and belly together. And doing a hiss sound. And you can feel that pressure. You can feel those muscles wanting to resist and keep your body big. That is what we keep when we sing. That's what gives us the power when we are singing. If we don't, we sing and we go, ah, and we're yelling. Doesn't sound very good. But if we grab and we resist, ah, we get that power.
Hey, listen, you know what you're doing, and this translates also in power into martial arts, because that's what you're doing. Right, when you punch. And it's also to breath control, and of course make sure that you're flexing, because if you make that sound, you're flexing, so your body, once it's open with a punch, you can get kicked here. Man, it's all falling together now. Look at this, singing and fighting. I'm going to be the fighter, the singing fighter. That's what I should have been.
So Buzz, I don't want to embarrass you, man, but you want to give it a note? You want to try it? You want to do something?
What do you want me to sing?
So you can
I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher.
Woo!
burns, burns, the ring of fire.
Johnny
The
Cash.
ring of fire. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, I love it, Buzz. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for today. For everyone watching, our students, it's available in the shop over here. If you want to get one, you can. I think it's a really good investment to put in towards yourself. As Buzz has said, and we've talked about today, breathing is so important, and we owe it to ourselves to do it correctly to help with our overall performance and even our blood oxygen levels too. The more we intake, the more it goes in our blood, the more we perform better. So, Buzz, thank you so much for talking with us today.
I want to give you one more tip.
Yeah.
What a lot of people forget, and a lot of athletes forget, and everybody
Go for
forgets.
it. Go for it.
Stretching your chest, thoracic flexibility. If you, for instance, are a singer and you like to also do weights, if you have a big performance, don't stop bench pressing the day of the 2 days before, because all these muscles get tight. When they get tight, they can't really expand to what you want them to expand. So it's very important to stretch those muscles. Somehow I knew this when I was fighting. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was always like back to back with somebody, and I would hook my arms and I would let them lean forward, so I would stretch my belly. I thought I was stretching my core, but I was stretching the intercostal muscles as well, because the more flexible your chest is, the easier it will be for you to fill up your lungs with air. So it's a big one, especially if you like power training and singing. Stay away from the power training before you have a big event.
That's a very, very great tip. And that is something also we can do in singing. We always talk about our intercostal muscles being tight. We have muscles around our ribs, and it's so important that we actually stretch them. If anyone's wondering how, you can just stretch over like this. Take a nice deep breath and stretch that out. And you'll feel sometimes that you do get that tension. You can do a forward lean over like this and get more the back, and breathe into that as well. And you can feel those beautiful stretches of the ribs stretching forward. And breathe in.
This one, breathing in, and when you breathe out, make it tighter. And it works really well on the chair. Normally you can put with your hands on the floor, but I really like the chair because you can put and it's also really stretching all the intercostals. Great way to do it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Guys, you're not going to get these kind of tips anywhere else. So make sure you check it out. I'll link everything below. Buzz, thank you so much for your time today and for talking to our students and everyone that wants to work on their breathing. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And with that, I hope you have a beautiful day. Rise above and love. And I will hopefully see you next time.
Hey, let's do it. You just let me know, and maybe we go live one time to the whole class. That will be fun.
I'd love it. Bye, everybody.
All right. Take care. Bye.